Yeah, Friday! Welcome to the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast, the future #1 weight loss podcast in the world. I am your host, Donato Russo. I hope you enjoy the show today. If this is your first time here and you enjoy the show, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If the podcast app you're listening on allows you to rate the show, please leave a 4-star or 5-star rating. Any rating is greatly appreciated. This is episode 77. I got a packed show for you. Let's get into this. Journey updates. Well, this week was a good week. Down 2.4 for the week. So no changes need to be made. We are down 2.4 for the month of February since it is the first weigh-in of February. Total, since January 2019, we are down 135.2. Pounds remaining to get to milestone 150. 14.8 pounds. Pounds remaining to get to milestone 175. 39.8 pounds. And the pounds remaining to get to milestone 200. 64.8 pounds. Not a bad week. Not a bad week. I don't have all of that extra weight that I put on off yet. So the head's not above water. We're still underwater here. But I'm not panicked. We're going to keep it going, keep it rolling, and see what happens from here. I wonder how many of you out there listening to me deal with mental barriers. Now, what is a mental barrier? Mental barriers are limitations you put on yourself that don't actually exist physically. It's something you've created, a situation you've created in your mind, whether it's other people feeding it to you or you telling yourself, whatever the case may be. But it's more in your mind than it is physically. There's plenty of physical barriers people have. People have injuries, people have chronic conditions. These are all physical barriers, right? But mental barriers don't exist in the physical realm the majority of the time. It's more in our mind than it is in actuality. You know, of all the emotions, think for a second of all the emotions in the world. Every emotion you've ever felt in your life. There are 2 trees, okay? And each tree represents the core of where that emotion comes from. Now, every emotion is either rooted in love or fear. These are the parents of all emotions. So any other emotion you could possibly think of either comes from love or comes from fear. Every emotion. So a lot of mental barriers are rooted in fear. Now stay with me here. It's not fear like I'm scared of the dark. It's fear like I'm afraid of what is next. I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of success. If I do this, what will they expect of me next? That kind of fear. There's a saying, I don't know who said this, but it says the hardest battle you'll ever have to fight is between who you are now and who you want to be. And this is so true. I have something going on that I feel like is a mental barrier. And I want to talk more about it, but we're going to do that after the break. So don't go anywhere.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening to the Ranting Weight Watcher. If you would like to connect on social media, we would love to connect with you. On Facebook and Instagram, search for @The Ranting Weight Watcher. On Twitter, search for @The Ranting WW. On the Weight Watchers Connect app, search for @Ranting Weight Watcher. You can also email the show, say hello or share your story with us. Send your emails to therantingweightwatcher@gmail.com. You can also call the show and leave a voicemail message that could be played on the air. Just call 505-652-7268. Again, that's 505-652-7268. We look forward to hearing from you. If this is your first time here, and you enjoyed the show, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. We are proud to announce that the Ranting Weight Watcher is now rated number 4 in Feedspot.com's top 10 Weight Watchers podcasts. Click the link in the show's description if you wish to see the full list. If the podcast app you are listening with allows you to rate the show, please leave a 4-star or 5-star rating, whatever is in your heart to leave. Any rating is greatly appreciated. And now, without further delay, here is the star of the show, Donato Russo.
And we are back. Thanks for sticking with me. So we're going to take a little trip back in time. Back to the very beginning of my journey. Or the beginning this time around. So we're going back to January 2019. Now, I started, it was the 12th of January. It was a Saturday. I went to my first Weight Watchers workshop. Now, prior to this, I had a extremely bad habit. I would wake up, and still to this day I do at least part of this, right? I would wake up so much time before everyone in the rest of the house. It was about 5 a.m. So this is before Weight Watchers, okay? It was about 5 a.m. I would wake up. And then for probably minimum 3 hours, sometimes 3.5 hours, I had me time. It was my time. My time to hold the remote, my time to watch what I wanted on TV. I would go downstairs while everybody was still asleep. I would turn on the coffee maker, make my coffee, and then I would walk to the cabinet and I would grab a package of cookies. Now, the package of cookies would be bought brand new every week because they would not last the weekend. I would finish them every weekend. And I had a little obsession with the they're kind of like Oreos, but they're yellow or white or whatever you want to call them. I think they call them blondies. So it's like a vanilla cookie with the same frosting that an Oreo has. I had like a little obsession with those and coffee on weekend mornings. And then I would go and put whatever movie I wanted to watch on. And I would have my me time watching the movie of my choice with my coffee and my cookies. Now, I would continually eat the cookies until I ran out of coffee. Once I ran out of coffee, put the cookies away, the rest would be for the next day. Because I would wake up on Sunday morning and do the exact same thing. So the day I decided to start Weight Watchers, obviously I didn't do that. And so Sunday morning, the day after the workshop, was my first time facing the journey and first challenge of the journey. And if you follow me on Connect and you go all the way back in time, I believe it's my very first post on Connect, is of me holding an apple that's bitten. And it's because I knew that I could not handle eating just however many cookies and tracking them and having the coffee. I knew I wouldn't be able to do that. That if I had one cookie, that it would turn into a whole bunch of other cookies, just like it has been done week after week after week before that. So I made the decision that cookies were a trigger food at that point because of the ritual I had come accustomed to on Sunday mornings. I was so accustomed to doing that I didn't trust myself with cookies. And for almost the first entire year of my journey, I would say about 11 months, I did not have any cookies. And my first post on Connect is of me trying to deal with my first weekend morning without cookies, having my coffee still, but with anything of a substitute. So I chose the apple. And I'm pretty sure that is my very first post, is of me holding a bitten apple saying, I used to eat cookies and now this is my choice because I don't trust myself to eat cookies. I believe that choice was one of the core reasons for my success, because I knew I couldn't handle it at that moment. That they would have been a trigger that led to many other bad choices. So we fast forward a little bit. About, 6 months, 7 months? We're in August. And I am approaching the 50-pound milestone. And as I'm approaching it, if you've been following me long enough, every time I approach a milestone, it becomes this very dramatic thing. I get really close, and then I have a huge gain, roll backwards, have to battle my way back, and sometimes I gain again, and I have to battle my way back over and over and over again. So every approach to every milestone I've accomplished has been so dramatic in that fashion. And here I am approaching 50. Now, up to that point, I had decided that I was too big to exercise. And I just didn't have it in me to do the work. That I wanted to lose some weight first, and then I would introduce exercise to my plan. So now there's this little voice in the back of my head saying, you're going to get this 50-pound milestone. That's not a problem. But the next 50 isn't coming unless you introduce exercise. So here was my second mental barrier that I had to face. Having to tell myself it's time to introduce exercise to my life. For God knows how long it's been how many years it's been since I tried at this point. And I had all kinds of knee pain, and even though I was approaching a 50-pound weight loss, still plenty of knee pain and hip pain, all kinds of stuff. So I said to myself, I had to do something. It has to be small, but it has to be regimented. Something that I can turn to be consistent. So I decided that 3 days a week for 20 minutes, I would walk. And I would do this for 4 weeks before I allowed myself to make any changes to that system. 4 weeks went by. I went to 30 minutes, 3 days a week. Another 4 weeks went by. I added a fourth day for 30 minutes for 4 weeks. Another 4 weeks go by. I added 15 minutes, and so it was 45 minutes, 4 days a week for another 4 weeks. Now, here we are. At this point, we're years into it, and I'm walking 5 to 7 days a week. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how much time I have that day. And here I am approaching 150. And I have that voice again. You're going to get 150, but you won't get 175 without changing things drastically. I know I need strength training. I know I need to start lifting weights. And I have been procrastinating and pushing this off. I even attempted to do it into my consistency challenge group, and I failed miserably. I mean, it is what it is. I failed. It doesn't mean I quit. It just means I failed. In reality, I don't know how much effort I really gave it. So there's this mental barrier. Number one, there's laziness involved. Not wanting to pull out whatever equipment I bought that's buried deep in the closet. Number two, not wanting to go back and rejoin a gym, especially because I would need to wear a mask while working out, and I refuse to do that. So these mental barriers are there, and yet I know that I won't get past 150 unless I really become, number one, educated in how to lift weights, when to work out every part of the body, how to become like a routine that I do this every week. Also, not letting go of the walk, but the walk is not going to be 5 to 7 days a week anymore. It has to change. It cannot be. I noticed recently, now, yes, I understand it's cooler in Florida right now, but even on the days where it's not cooler, I am not sweating anywhere near what I used to sweat when I used to do this. If you look at my walk videos on Connect and you go back to when I first started walking, the sweat coming off of me at that size, because I started at 395. I didn't start exercising until I lost 50 pounds. So I was still well over 300 pounds when I started to exercise. I was sweating like crazy, creating crazy amounts of fit points. Now, I also understand that the plan has changed and you don't generate the same amount of fit points the same way anymore that we used to. For all the new people, that's activity points. They used to be called fit points. But anyway, I haven't really, especially in the heart monitor area, I used to hit the peak heart rate zone without trying. I mean, it would just happen. 150 beats per minute, 158 beats per minute. I'm nowhere near that anymore. If I break 100, that's a good workout day now. So what I used to do that was so good before is obviously not enough anymore. And if I really want to get to the 175 milestone and the 200-pound milestone, I really need to get my butt moving and educate myself in the weightlifting area of things. How to, when to, where to, what order to, how much to. There's so many things, and a lot of them I place there because here I am couple of weeks ago saying you don't have to be perfect. And at the same time, I've been procrastinating in the name of having a perfect way of doing this from day one. That's really the truth of it. The truth of it is I'm procrastinating based on the amount of knowledge I have, which I say is not enough, the routine that I do not have, and God knows what other things I could come up with. As if there was going to be a perfect implementation going into weightlifting on the first try. We're going to take a break. I'll be right back. Hello, I'm Donato Russo, and I am the Ranting Weight Watcher. I wrote an affirmation. It's called the Ranter's Creed. I dedicate that affirmation to all of you who are watching. Nothing can stand in your way because you are an unstoppable force. Your challenges crumble in your presence because you are so strong. Your insecurities no longer have power over your life because you are so confident. Your mistakes are your choices, and you are okay with this because you are so intelligent. The mirror and the scale no longer haunt you because you are so beautiful. You can face any circumstance with unwavering support because you are so loved. The demons of your past can no longer torment you because you love yourself. All things are possible as long as you believe because God is on your side. You will achieve all of your goals, not if, but when, because you have no boundaries. You are the champion of your story because you do whatever it takes to win. No one can take what you've done away from you because you are the author and the hero of your story. Arise, champion. The victory is yours. Because you are enough. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with me. I am, I don't know, in a weird place mentally right now. Because I have the nerve to sit here week after week with this microphone in front of my face, telling you, every single one of you, that all you need to do to have what you want is get out of your own way. And yet I struggle in the same way. I have all these big words, these aspirations, these goals. Lose 150, lose 175, lose 200. And then make a decision as to what I want for the rest of my life. Do I want to keep losing? Or am I done losing and do I want to change to something else? All of these aspirations, all of these goals, and yet here I sit, 64.8 pounds away from my big goal. That is closer than I've ever been in any attempt to lose weight. Even when in 2004, when I had gastric bypass surgery and I lost 160, actually it was almost 200 pounds in a year that I lost. Because I started at 460 and I was 277 in a year. Even then, I wasn't as close to my goal as I am right now. And then I wasted the next 15 years, blah, blah, blah. You guys know that story. If you don't, you can go to episode 1 and get all the details. But here I am, 64 pounds away. Compared to what I've lost, it's a small amount to allow myself to deal with mental barriers like this. And do I have a solution? Not really. When I first started my journey, one of the people that supported me on Connect, her name is Happy Jeep Girl. Now, I haven't seen a post from her in, God, I don't even know. I don't even know if she's still on Connect. I don't know if she knows about this podcast. I don't know if she listens. But before this podcast and before the Ranting Weight Watcher existed, on Connect, I was the Teflon Don. That was my screen name. And she was a big supporter of mine. Always there with encouraging words. Always there. And even then, I mentioned wanting to get into the weights one day. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with it. And she said to me that she had this book, Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, something like that. I can't remember the title now. And I don't have it in front of me. I should. But she had this book and she said, I recommend that you buy it. And I did buy it. And then I stuck it in a drawer for the next 2 years. Never even looked at it again. Just a few days ago, I pulled it out of the drawer and I started to read it. And I quickly found out that it was the wrong book. I quickly found out that it was the second book that this guy wrote, and I should have read another book first. So that's what I did. I ordered the next book, and I received it today. I haven't started reading it yet. So one is the instructional how to do this system, how to break into starting to lift weights for people who know nothing about it. And the other book is like the journal, how to keep track of all the work you're doing. So it's a more interactive workbook. And then the first is the system, how to do it. So I have both books now. I plan to read or start reading the book to try and educate myself as I chase 150 here. Because once I get the 150 charm, I'm not going to get the last 50 pounds without hitting the weights. I just know it. I've come so close to 150 twice already. Once, the first time I approached, I was 2 pounds away and then had a gain. The second time I approached, I was 4 pounds away and then had a gain. And here I sit, 14 pounds away. I will get the 150. But I will not get the 175 or the 200 without introducing strength training into my life. I just know it. I have to sit here and do what I tell all of you to do. I have to start with something small. Some small strength training exercise, and I have to actually make it consistent. And stop procrastinating like I'm going to be able to implement some weight training program for 4 or 5 days, whatever it is, and have it be perfect right out from the get-go. That's nonsense. It's nonsensical thinking, and it needs to stop. I can't sit here behind this mic and tell you guys you don't need to be perfect and then find myself trying to be. That's not how it works. I have to do something. I'm done wasting time. It sucks to be in this place right now. And when I really look at it from a broad standpoint, the idea that I can get this right on the first try, it's so nonsensical. There is no way. I have done nothing in my life and gotten it right on the first try. I have had bumps and errors and failures all through my life. And I have learned from each one of them. Some lessons have taken longer than others, but I still did it. So the idea that I could get this one right on paper before I even try it, it's ludicrous to even think it. And I went as far as to hire a trainer thinking I would pick up something from that trainer. And yet, week after week, I showed up to the gym on my own nights. And I couldn't remember a single thing I was taught. I couldn't come up with a single routine of what I should do. I learned nothing. And that's because I didn't take the time to educate myself on what it actually takes to strengthen the body. I just figured I would pick it up, like it would come natural to me or something. And that's not the case. It never was the case. It was a pipe dream to think it would be the case. But you know what? None of it matters. From this moment on, we start again from zero. Because nothing I tried before worked, and it doesn't matter. We go from here forward. Whatever I'm going to do here is educate myself and finally implement something. Because I can't talk about it that much anymore. I just have to do. And however many times I fail, I have to get back up and keep going. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.